Hi, Troy Spletka here. Welcoming you to our second episode of Fishing and Hunting the North Country. It's early April. We are out on a West Metro area lake in central Minnesota, the Twin Cities area. We got 45-degree water temperature. We had an early spring. You can see we're totally ice-free. So I'm thinking crappie time. 45 maybe just the beginning of it, but we should have some crappies to go after today. It'll get better as the water warms and goes along. We're going to make a quick little run over to a shallow bottom bay, shallow dark bottom, some weeds growing in. We're going to look for fish. Once we get over there and get fishing, I'll talk a little more about what we're using and the kinds of areas that we're targeting, and see if we can catch some in between. So we're going to make a quick little run and get to it. Over to a spot here. There's a few other boats here. It's just an area with, we're kind of out on the edge more in mid-depth, and then it gets shallower as we go into a bay here. Early in the 45-degree water temp, we're going to look for the fish probably out here more in the mid-depth in the 8 to probably 7 to 10 foot range. Later as the water gets into the 50s and towards 60, they'll be up shallow, up in 2, 3, 4 feet of water. But right now we're going to target this, and we've got weeds coming in already, so we'll be looking for healthy clumps of weeds in that 7, 8, 9 foot range, and then we'll target those and be casting to those. We're going to use the Minn Kota Humminbird combo here. We'll use right now you can see we're spot lock or anchored with the Minn Kota. You can see it turn there, but we'll use that to move around. I know a lot of people like to drop at anchor, but I try to avoid that if I can, especially in these soft bottom areas with weeds. You're cleaning mud off the anchor and you're up and down and causing clouds in the water. We'll use the trolling motor to move around, looking for fish. When we find fish, then we'll hit the spot lock on there and we'll anchor up on them and stay on them until it's time to if we spook fish out of the area or other boats do, then we can move around again. What I like to use this time of year, pretty simple system. We've got a slip bobber rig here. I've got a slip bobber knot set at about 4.5, 5 feet here. Crappies always feed up, so even though we might be in 7 feet of water with a couple of feet of weeds, we're going to be fishing above that looking, and we'll adjust the depth as we find the fish, but crappies feed up. I'm using a 7-foot ultralight combo here. This is a St. Croix panfish series with an ultralight Bluger try-on reel on there. I have 4-pound test Berkley Nanofill on here. Nanofill's a super line category, they call it. It's not really a braid like some of the other ones, but it's a unifilament. It's fused. I use mainly Berkley Fireline on my bait casters and Nanofill on my spinning reels. I like the Nanofill on the spinning reels because it's round, just like a monofilament is, or a fluorocarbon, so it lays on the reel nice, comes off nice. And then I've got the bobber knot, I've got the slip bobber with the bead, and then I have a barrel swivel tied right below the bobber there, you can see. And then I have some fluorocarbon for stealth. We have clear water here in the springtime, and this lake's a clean lake, so I have some fluorocarbon, 4-pound Berkley Vanish this happens to be. You can kind of see the difference if we get in close there. You can see on the left is the Nanofill, the Superline, and then the barrel, and then you can see the fluorocarbon. It's much harder to see under the water, disappears. They call it Vanish. I have that down tied to a 1/8 ounce. You can use, depending on conditions, we got a little wind today, so we're using a 1/8 ounce. You could use 16th ounce too, but this is a VMC Moon Eye jig. Pink, chartreuse, white are good colors for panfish in the spring. You don't really have to be too picky about your colors. And then I have a 2-inch Berkley Power Minnow. It's power bait scented, and have that. I don't get too tricky with the colors either. We're using shad, smelt, but a minnow color in most cases. Threaded onto that hook, and you can see that tail dances there. I know a lot of people like to use crappie minnows in live bait in the spring. If the crappies are biting, this is going to catch them. This jig hangs down there, that minnow flops around. And the advantage of this is I'm not putting my hands in a cold, wet minnow bucket on a cool spring day, and this soft plastic is much more durable than a minnow. A lot of times crappies are nipping at it and tasting it if they're not real aggressive, and I might miss a fish 3, 4, 5 times and catch it on that third or fourth or fifth try. If you're using a crappie minnow, I've reeled in and rebaited 4 or 5 times in that time period. I'm just not in the water as much, and I'm more likely to miss fish and not catch fish as much. So give that a try, and we'll talk about it in a later episode about using it for bluegills in the summertime and crappies in the summertime too. These scented soft plastics are really the ticket for being efficient in fishing panfish. So we're going to get this rig out there, we're going to move around until we find some fish, and we'll be back when we find some fish. Hey there. Well, that didn't take us too long. Showed you what we were using. Got it out there, and got a decent crappie right away. We don't need any fish, so we're not keeping anything today. I've got the spot lock on the trolling motor. Hey, got another one here. A bit smaller one. 7-8 incher. But been here about 5 minutes towing the boat. Same spot. We're still spot locked there. We will give it a little while, and if we're catching enough or we're not catching big enough ones, we'll switch. Again, he just hit that VMC jig, had that baby hooked right in the top of the mouth, that little minnow. Just slurped that bobber, just slowly went down. Sometimes I'm going to get him back. Sometimes with crappies, especially early in the spring, if they're a little finicky, you'll actually, that bobber will be watching it, and that bobber will, sometimes it goes down beautiful when they're aggressive, sometimes slow, but sometimes it'll sit there and a crappie will come up, they'll grab that bait and sit there and take the weight off the bobber. Your bobber will tip on its side. Ways fish crappies in the winter or the spring has seen that. Set that hook, try to keep your line tight. We got a little bit of a breeze today, but try to keep your line tight so you can get a quick hook set whenever you see something wrong with that bobber. We'll get back at it here. Yeah, we got another one. Didn't take long, that was literally 30 seconds after that last one. So, kind of like I was guessing with that 45-degree water temp, lots of 7 to 10 inchers up here. Same thing, that VMC jig in the pink with the power bait minnow, but you can have a blast. A little cool today, little breeze. Well, it's not that cool, it's 63, but that breeze out of the north, you can hear whistling there, is a little cool. But we're still able to get some fish, just a little trickier conditions. So, oh, we're gonna go. I see the cameraman's bobber is down. All right, my dad, Nate, is doing the camera work and was filming me a little few seconds ago here. His bobber went down, so he set the camera down, went and grabbed it, and reeled it up while I grabbed the camera. So they're starting to jump in the boat pretty good here. Same thing, he's got kind of a white and blue mixed colored jig, but the same with the minnow colored 2-inch grub on there. Oh, that's about another 8.5, 9-incher. Again, if you were looking for a meal of crappies, boy, they don't get much tastier than a nice batch of those. We were talking about the conditions a little bit. You can see it's a little breezy. We got a north breeze today. Makes it a little trickier. This guy saw that he was hungry. And there, yeah, this one got it in pretty good. We've been missing a few too. They're a little touchy. You can see it's a little breezy out of the north. You can see it's sunny out. Your best time on these fish is in the, if you can do the afternoon on a sunny day. That sun can warm the water incredibly this time of the year. Just in a portion of a day. So if you can get out on a sunny afternoon like we are, the sun's been out all day, sunny and calm is even better. That water will warm a little bit more, but sunny really helps, and a little bit less wind would help, but we're still doing okay here. We'll see if we can get some more. Good job, Dan. Yeah, it didn't take long. We are knocking them around pretty good here, about an 8-incher here, or so, 8.5. More golden color to them. Same, using that same rig. We found the depth here. We're both fishing at about 5 feet. Look at the look here. We're at about 13 feet of water with weeds up to about 9. It's about 4 feet of weeds, and then we're fishing at about 5 feet, so we're fishing above those weeds. A ways up, crappies will roam around above those weeds, and then they'll feed up. You always want to be, well, at is okay, but definitely above crappies. And you can be several feet above crappies, and they feed up, they will come up to it. But if you're fishing below them, you're never going to catch fish. So we've been watching the locator, seeing crappies, seeing where they're at, getting back, and making sure that we're fishing above them. We're probably fishing, before we see most of the crappies moving around, we're probably fishing a couple of feet above them. But they're coming up. A lot of them, you can tell they're coming up because that bobber tips on its side and then dunks. He grabs it, takes the weight off, and then takes off with it. So they're, for the conditions, they're biting pretty well. We'll get back to it here and see if we can get some more. Missed one there. Give him another chance to see if they hope he's back. There he's tipping that bobber on its side. Oh, missed him again. Stay on him here. And again, that's where that plastic is helping. If I had a crappie minnow, I would have had to already put a new bait on. We'll see, he hit it twice there. We'll see if he'll hit it a third time. If not, we'll have to go back out and get him again. Might have got a little too close to the boat there. Okay, we're going to toss it back out, so we'll stay on here. And see if we can, he's right in this general area. There's a bunch of them there. So, okay, there we are. And then we're just watching that bobber. It's bouncing around the waves. It's a small little bobber. Just keeping an eye on it. And every once in a while, if we go a little while without a bite, I'll move it just a little bit and then stop moving it and let it sit. Sometimes we have to do that, trigger a bite, or just simply get it to a spot where the fish is sitting. So let's see if we can get another one to go here. All right, well, we'll be back when we get one to go. We get to see how it is to miss a fish. Miss a crappie a couple times there too. We'll be back when we get one. Oh, there's one going. Give it a little dunk. But we'll be back when we get one hooked up. Hey there, we got one of those finicky ones to hit it finally. I got him on the second try there. He tipped that bobber up and then took it down a couple times, got him on the second one. And again, can't emphasize enough, that's the deal with this soft plastic. A lot of these fish I've been catching out in the second, third, and fourth try. A little smaller one there, 7.5, 7 incher. A lot of these fish have been catching on the second, third, even fourth time that they hit it. If I was using a crappie minnow hooked on a hook underneath the bobber, I'd be missing those fish, reeling in to put a new minnow on, throwing back out, missing them. Still on this plastic's going to catch a lot more fish. I did myself, between me and my dad here, we'd gone through 24 crappie minnows already to catch the fish that we have. So, and I don't think we'd be catching as many because we would not be in the water as much. We'd be in here rebaiting. So, good tip. There we go. That one just buried the bobber. This one feels maybe a little nicer. We'll see. Fighter and nothing else. Yeah, pretty much the same. 9 incher. A little bigger than that last 7.5 I got. Again, pretty typical. As the first ones to move up here, we hit in April. So, still a good thing I'm using that plastic. We're missing them. Getting them on the second, third time. Got that one on the first time. That one actually buried the bobber. So, nice fish. Good way to get out in the spring. I'm going to put him back. Good thing, a good time of the year too, as we get these warm, sunny days. If you get a little less wind, a good time to get kids out too. One thing we got to think about as fishermen is continuing our sport. Part of that, the selective harvest and putting fish back so they're there for the next generation to catch. But then we got to get the next generation out fishing. And this is a great way to introduce kids. They're not a little cooler wind today, and they're not biting quite as fast. But you get a nice sunny, calm day, and you can literally catch a fish. We're catching a fish every couple of minutes, but you can catch a fish every 20 or 30 seconds, basically as fast as you can get a fish in, get it off, and get back out. You can get another one. So, great time to get kids out. So really think about this as you do this early spring crappie fishing. Sun fishing later, I'll talk about it later, but get kids out. Kids don't really care how big the fish is. They just want to catch a lot of them. They want a nice day to have some fun. Make sure you bring snacks, and we'll get my kids out this later segments here this summer, and we'll take a look at that. But this spring crappie fishing is a great time to do that. We'll get back to it here and see if we can get some more. Hey there, I got another one. A little bit smaller one again here, maybe an 8 incher, 8.5, but you can see more and more boats slipping in here. Beautiful day. Everybody wanting to get out and be a part of this, so we're going to keep hitting them here. We probably caught a couple dozen crappies already, and we've been here about 30 minutes, so doing pretty well. We'll keep at it here, and we could catch some sunfish too. It's maybe just a tad early, but a little bit. Some sunnies will move up here, and see if we can maybe catch a few bigger crappies if we move around a little bit and see if we can find a clump of weeds that's maybe holding a few bigger ones. But that's pretty much the size we'll be doing right now until the water warms up about another 5 degrees. So we'll get back at it here and see if we can get some more. Hey there, we're back. Got a little nicer, little darker one here. 9 incher again or so. They're getting hooked right in the top of the mouth, right like you want them to. I'm going to take this opportunity just to mention here, my new boat, got a 1875, Lund 1875 Pro V, complete with a 200, Mercury 200 Verado Pro, and Mercury 99 Pro kicker on there, and then a couple of Humminbird Helix 12s at the helm, and also up at the bow, and then Minn Tarova, and we talked about it earlier with that Tarova eye-linked to the sonars and GPS, so we can use the spot lock and contour follow. So getting it out, just had it out a few times this year, but good to get it out. Good to be fishing out of this. And you're catching crappies in April. We'll get back to them here. All right, some time off of the camera. My dad Nate here's got one. Pretty typical 8-9 incher. Same technique we were talking about here. He's using that jig with the Berkeley power bait minnow on there, 2-inch. He's using a 16th ounce jig with 2-ounce or a 2-inch minnow on there, and that's not a bad one. Again, if you're looking to keep fish, that'd be perfect. He's hooked right up on the top of the mouth perfectly. So we'll drop him back over the side here and get back after some more. See if we can get some more. Nice job, Dad. We're knocking them around pretty good here. They're not as aggressive as they will get yet when the water gets a little warmer, but we're still catching a lot of fish here. Fun time. Okay, Dad Nate's got one here again. Just threw that bobber out, must have thrown it right on top of the fish's head, and it took that right down. Oh, it wasn't hooked real well. More and more boats starting to arrive here. Let's take a look at that. Yeah, well, this one didn't hesitate any. The minute it hit the water, I had him. So. Yeah. Dropped it right on top of his head. Yep. There, so that's how it is. Tip with that, as we put this fish back, I'll just give you a tip with that. These crappies, a lot of times, especially when earlier here when the water's cooler, they're holding on a spot. They're holding on, we're fishing right out here right now, they're holding on a clump of weeds that's got minnows. And if you throw the bait out, don't let it sit forever and wait for the fish to come to you. That's not going to be a real efficient way to do it. If you don't get bit, reel it a little bit. Sometimes they'll hit it on the move like that, but move it a little bit until you come across a fish. A lot of times you have to move it and bring it to the fish instead of waiting for the fish to come to you. Just a good tip that'll help get a few more crappies in the boat. Nice job, Dan. Okay, I put the camera down and do some fishing here, and now he's all over them too. Bringing in another one here. A little bit smaller one here, 7.5, 8 incher, but still lots of fun. We've been here now for about a little over an hour, and we probably caught 40 crappies already, maybe 45. So it just shows how much fun you can have. Key tip, I saw what happened to my dad on that one is be ready when you cast out. Make sure you're ready right away, because a lot of times you'll drop that fish right on, or drop the bait right on that fish's head, and you got to be ready right away with a tight line, because they'll hit that right away. If you're taking time to flip your bail and slowly reel up, you might not be ready for the bite. So get it out there, get a tight line, be ready right away. All right, go get another one. One tip we talked about, I just threw out there, but it's getting that line tight right away, in case you drop it right on a fish's head. But again, I mentioned about moving it. If that fish doesn't bite fairly quickly, giving it about 5 seconds here, nothing. I'm going to reel it just a couple of feet. Sometimes you'll get hit right on that reel, then I'm going to stop and let it sit. Okay, another triggering technique, especially if it's really calm, there's no actions. You can give it a little twitch like that, a little pop. But if nothing happens, give it a few seconds. Again, I'm not going to sit there and wait for those fish to come to me. I'm going to move it a few feet. Might get hit during the move, be ready for that. If not, then I'm going to let it sit again. And then if nothing in a few seconds, then I'll give her a couple little pops again. So just remember that, change it up, do whatever it takes to trigger fish, and then remember what works and duplicate whatever works and gets the fish to bite. All right, well, thank you for tuning in and watching our show about early spring fishing for crappies. We had a great day out on the water here. Caught a lot of crappies, not any real big ones yet, but plenty of nice eaters, and had a good time. Hopefully you learned a little bit some of the techniques that we showed on how to use that slip bobber and that jig and that plastic combination. We're going to go on and get out of here now and head on back in. But I want to thank you for watching our show. Good luck, and I'll see you out there somewhere.